What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another bang. So in today's video, we will be taking a look at 4 teams that I feel like are currently underachieving in the NBA right now. Now, before we even get into this video, we do have to take this video with a grain of salt because we haven't even finished 2 weeks of NBA basketball. So with all that being said, let's take a look at these 4 different teams. And in this video, I will actually look more in depth into the teams, look at their schedule, look at their stats, things of that nature, to see exactly why they are struggling. And also just give my final thoughts on if they can really turn it around. But without further ado, let's take a look at these teams. Alright, so first up, we got everybody's favorite team, the LA Lakers. Now, if you didn't know, that is my favorite team. And to be honest, I'm not really surprised that they are 0-4. Yes, they are 0-4. They're 15th in the Western Conference right now. I'm not really surprised because if you have been a long-time subscriber, then you know that I didn't even have them in the playoffs in my Western Conference predictions. So I'm not surprised. I'm sure you guys are, but I'm not. But let's take a look at their stats. So they are 29th in points per game, 22nd in rebounds per game, 20th in assists per game, and 11th in opponents' points per game. So just looking at those stats, what do you expect, bro? I'm looking you dead in your face. What do you expect with these stats, bro? They are bottom 15 in 3 different stats: points, assists, and rebounds. Yeah, they go be ass. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And then let's take a look at the teams that they have played. Their first 4 games. Let's take a look at them. So they are right here. We at week 1. First game, Golden State Warriors. Yup, L. I seen that coming a mile away. L. Alright, so next up is the LA Clippers. So I'm not really surprised that they took the L against this team because they do match up very well against the Lakers. They have a lot of big wings. They lost to the Portland Trail Blazers. This was a heartbreaker. And they lost to the Denver Nuggets. A pretty good team that has pretty much got energized due to them getting all of their hurt star players back. So they did, I can't front, they did have a pretty tough starting schedule, but at the same time, I do feel like at least these 2 games were winnable. But next up, let's take a look at the second team, which is the Philadelphia 76ers. So it's pretty much the same situation. It's pretty much the same situation. But the thing about this situation is that Philly doesn't really have an excuse. No. What I mean by the same situation is, let's look at their stats. 25th in points per game, 30th in rebounds per game, 25th in assists per game, and 12th in offensive points per game. No, this was very understandable for the LA Lakers, and I will explain why. No. You don't expect a team that doesn't have shooters to be high when it comes to points per game. You don't expect that, which the Lakers don't have. You don't expect them to be high when it comes to rebounds per game when you have AD playing your center and rotational bigs that probably wouldn't even start, such as Thomas Bryant and I forgot the other dude named Damian Jones as your starting centers. You wouldn't expect them to be high in rebounds per game either. But I can't say the same when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. You have James Harden. You have Tyrese Maxey. You have Joel Embiid. Bro, how are you 30th in rebounds per game if you have Joel Embiid? That literally doesn't make sense to me. It literally doesn't. But yeah, they stats are atrocious. I'm just going to keep it real. And let's just take a look at their schedule. Let's see who they played in their first week in the NBA. All right, so here we go. So the first game they lost was against Boston. Now, this is understandable. Boston did make it to the NBA Finals. This is understandable. I'm going to give them a pass. Second one they lost was the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, that Milwaukee Bucks is definitely a good-ass team. Third game they lost was the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs have been hot, but they definitely should have won this game. I'm going to just say that. They definitely should have won this game. Next up, they lost to the they won against the Indiana Pacers. They should have won against them. That's a dub they do need to actually win. So, good job, I guess. And they lost to Toronto. And they're playing Toronto again tomorrow. So, hopefully they don't drop that one neither. But they have had a somewhat tough schedule. But I feel like, to be honest, the Lakers may have had a tougher schedule. I'm going to just keep it real. And they definitely have dropped some winnable games. Because let's be honest, most of these games are winnable. I know they are tough teams, but let's keep it real. With the amount of talent that Philly has, pretty much all of these games were winnable. But they just didn't handle business. So, Philly, they definitely struggling. Next up, the next team I do want to put a light on is the Brooklyn Nets. So, the Brooklyn Nets, I think they may be in a worse position than all of these teams. I'm going to say it again. All of these teams. And I'm about to explain why. It's really the stats. No. They're 20th in points per game. They are 29th in rebounds per game, 17th in assists per game, and 25th in opponents' points per game. Now, the reason I feel like they're in the worst position out of all the teams we have went over right now is because they're literally bottom 15 in every category when it comes to stats. At least with the Los Angeles Lakers. They could at least hold a team under 110 points. Their opponent points per game was top 15. At least with the Philadelphia 76ers, it was the same thing. Their opponent's points per game was top 15. Brooklyn Nets, no, it's not. It's not. There's no hope. There's no hope, bro. But, hey, let's take a look at their schedule and see how hard their schedule has been. All right, so here we go. Week 1. First team they played was the New Orleans Pelicans. They got blew out the park against them. And I feel like that's definitely still a winnable game. I know the New Orleans Pelicans is a good young team, but I feel like that's a winnable game. They beat Toronto. Good dub. Solid dub. Toronto, a solid team. They're one of those middle-of-the-pack teams. Solid dub, I guess. Lost to Memphis. Memphis is a good team. I can't knock them on that. Also lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee is a good team also, but it's pretty much the same thing I stated with the Philadelphia 76ers. They have so much talent on this team that, let's keep it real, most of these games are winnable. So, I can't give them too much benefit of the doubt. And also, they do have some solid role players. Like, if we want to keep it real, they got just as good of solid role players as the Philadelphia 76ers. The only team that doesn't really have great role players on this list is the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's keep it real. So, man, they definitely need to make some adjustments. It may be the coaching. It may be plenty of different things. Ben Simmons, he needs to step up. He definitely needs to step up defensively and offensively. Let's keep it real. And for the last team, now this one definitely has a grain of salt. They actually play tonight. And it's my hometown, man. It's the Dallas Mavericks. No, they have only played 3 games. So take this with a grain of salt, bro. Take it with a grain of salt. But let's take a look at them. And do I feel like they could turn this switch? No. easily just looking at the stats, I already know that they will turn this around. Easily. I know they will turn this around. So let's keep it real. They not really underachieving. I feel like they gonna turn this around like this. And the reason I say that is just look at the stats. They're 9th in points per game, which is great. So their offense is rolling pretty well. And their opponent's points per game is very low. It's 5th. That's definitely a recipe for success. So just looking at their stats, I know they will turn it around. I know they have dropped 2 games, but I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried at all about this team. I'm going to keep it real. But let's just take a look at their stats, man. Well, not their stats, but let's just take a look at their schedule. Let's take a look at their schedule, see who all they played. All right, so they won against Memphis. Good dub. They lost against the New Orleans Pelicans. It was by 2 points, and that's a tough game, man. That's a tough game. And they also lost against the Phoenix Suns by 2 points. So I'm not too worried about them. I'm going to just keep it real because their losses were against 2 good young teams. And besides that, man, they stats look good. They will get this shit right. I'm going to just keep it real. They will get this shit right. I know they struggling when it comes to assists and rebounding, but besides that, their offense is rolling and their defense is solid too. They go get it together. But let me just speak on these last couple of teams. Now, Los Angeles Lakers, do I feel like they will turn it around? Not without a trade. I'm gonna just say that. Brooklyn Nets, do I feel like they will turn it around? Nah, nope. I just don't. I don't see it, bro. I'm sorry. It'll have to take a lot of carrying from KD and Kyrie for them to really turn it around. I don't see it. Next up, Philly. I gotta believe in them. I gotta believe in them. It's tough for me not to think that they won't turn it around. It really is. Just based on their team, all the star power they have. And it's somewhat similar with the Brooklyn Nets, but at the same time, it's like I expect the Brooklyn Nets to not play defense. I can tell that Philly plays defense. They just need to get their offense back in order. So I'm not really worried about the Philadelphia 76ers. They'll get back on track. Dallas, not worried about them at all. Los Angeles Lakers, I'm not expecting much. And the Brooklyn Nets, I'm not expecting much. But if you enjoyed this video, please like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the fucking channel, turn on notifications, and I'm out. Peace.